Oh boy, oh boy. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movies Be Like podcast.
I'm Miranda.
And I'm Ryan, and this is episode 4.
Four.
Can you believe it, 4?
I surely can't believe it, Ryan. Let me tell you. When we started this podcast a month ago, I never thought we'd take it this far.
We have so many ideas for episodes. What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyway, today we're going to be discussing Tarantino films.
Quentin Tarantino.
The man himself, Quentin Quarantino. We're going to be discussing his films. He has 9 films that he has written and directed, and a few films that he has just written for and not directed.
And some that he's just acted in.
As many do in the Hollywood life. You know, they sometimes they just write, sometimes they direct, sometimes they write and direct.
Wow. Sometimes they even act in their own films.
It's so true. Like Tarantino, he's acted in like 5 of his films.
Crazy man.
Crazy.
Quentin Jerome Tarantino, everybody.
All right, well.
Let's get in. Well, we're going to be discussing his life, where he's from, a lot of facts about him, his background.
And then we're going to be discussing our personal favorites, as well as maybe briefly discussing his other 7 films, but but our main favorites are, both of our top favorite is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out in 2019, and then our,
one of our other top ones.
My, up there top one is Kill Bill. So we're going to be mainly talking about Kill Bill and
both Kill Bills. Right.
Yes, well, he considers Kill Bill to be one film.
He does. He probably does.
Out of respect for the Tarantino man himself, we're just gonna call it Kill Bill. And I'll mean all 4 hours of the film.
Got it.
Okay, so, shall we get into this?
We shall.
Okay.
Jump right in.
Jumping in. Here I come.
Tell me some fun facts about this boy.
This boy. Well, okay, this boy, he was born on March 27th in 1963.
In Sandwich, Illinois?
No, not Sandwich, Illinois. He was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. So Knoxville, Tennessee. He was born to his mom, Connie McHugh. And his dad left him before he was born. So I don't know if he ever met his dad, but his name was Tony Tarantino. So,
Tony.
Tony.
His dad's name is Tony.
Tony. Has he ever met him? I don't know.
I know a few Tonys in my life.
Maybe we'll find out another time.
I don't think I've met that Tony.
Okay, well, you don't think so?
No.
Yeah, chances are pretty low. Okay, anyway, so his family, this Tarantino man, he moved to California when he was 4 years old, and that's when his love of film began to blossom.
Oh, yeah?
And he said that his first, memory of film is his grandma, or his grandpa, I can't remember which one, taking him to go see a John Wayne film. The OG cowboy.
Pretty sick.
Of our time. And,
How old? He was 4?
Yeah, he was, well, I don't know if he was 4 when he saw the John Wayne film, but
That's pretty crazy.
he was 4 when they moved to California.
Oh.
He also loved storytelling, and he would write his mom sad Mother's Day story cards, where she always died in them. And
Mother's Day cards where she died in them?
Yes, and Tarantino would always feel really, really bad about it.
But he's the one writing them.
She just kind of found it funny. I know, but he couldn't help it. He was just kind of like, you keep dying in my stories.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I just had to kill you.
Exactly. Which makes sense, because if you've seen any of his films, you know he
likes to kill.
He loves violence in films. Because it's so much fun, Jan. Get it? Okay, anyway. He hated school. He hated school a lot.
How much did he hate school?
Oh, we'll get there. You'll see. He hated school a lot, and he wanted to spend all of his time reading comics or watching films, and the only subject that he really did well in was history, because it was like the movies to him, because it's just a story that he can just build a movie in his head about, basically.
Oh, he just imagine World War II happening and be like, oh, I know all the facts now.
Yeah, it was easier for his brain to understand. Unlike math and science, where you can't really make a fun little movie in your head about it.
You need a different mind about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so he dropped out of high school when he was like 16, or he didn't graduate high school.
Was he like a sophomore?
I don't know. But he then worked as an usher at a adult film theater while taking acting classes. So and then he got a job at a video archive store in Manhattan Beach, California.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so he just was working around movies and got to watch as many movies as he wanted, probably. And while he was working there, he worked on his screenplays, a few screenplays, 2 of which got made eventually, which are True Romance and Natural Born Killers. So, time well spent.
Time well spent.
Yes, because both of them got made into films. And he also, while working at the video archive store, he got a job on in an episode of The Golden Girls, where he played an Elvis impersonator in one of the episodes.
He was an Elvis impersonator?
Yeah.
What is it, The Golden Girls, by the way? I have no idea.
Oh, it was a really famous sitcom. It was like a classic sitcom.
I've never seen an episode. Have you?
No, but like, I know of it. Like, you know what I mean?
I guess. That makes you better than me.
It so does.
It so does.
I know the Golden Girls. You don't. Suck it. Okay. Anyway. And then in 1990, he got a job at Cinetel Production Company. So.
Cinetel.
Where he sold the script for True Romance to Tony Scott, the man who ended up directing it and creating it.
Nice.
And True Romance, fun fact, is also Margot Robbie's favorite movie. So imagine her excitement when she got the job as Sharon Tate in Once Upon. She probably didn't even have to try to get this. She was probably asked on it. I don't really know. Anyway. And then while he was working there, the producer Lawrence Bender gave him the funds to create Reservoir Dogs, which released in 1992. So, which, had many famous actors in it, like Michael Madsen and Harvey Keitel, and Tim Roth.
Yeah, Tim Roth.
And Steve Buscemi. Yes. And the people at Sundance Film Festival, the audiences really, really loved it. So it, because of that, Tarantino became a very talked about director in Hollywood. And then 2 years later, he won an Oscar for Best Picture for Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. What?
I had a burp. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why'd you nod your head no at me?
Huh?
You nodded your head no. Was I wrong?
Did I nod my head no?
Yeah, you went. But I think maybe you were just shaking out the burp.
I think I was just having to that's what I was doing.
He was shaking out the burp. Cleared that up. Okay,
yeah,
anyway.
Keep going.
So, Pulp Fiction won Best Picture and Best Director. So, it was also the first independent film to receive over $108 million at the box office in the United States.
Reservoir Dogs?
No, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, sorry.
Pulp Fiction. And then he went on to make Jackie Brown, which is a tribute to blaxploitation films in the 1970s. And it was like Foxy Brown in 1974. Foxy Brown, Pam Grier plays the lead. She plays Foxy Brown in Foxy Brown in 1974. So Pam Grier is Jackie Brown. So it's like a direct tribute, pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
And then after Jackie Brown, he made Kill Bill and Death Proof and Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, which was his second Oscar win. Cool. He won Best Supporting Actor. Not Tarantino. He didn't win Best Supporting Actor. Christoph Waltz won Best Supporting Actor. Yeah. And Original Screenplay. Won those 2 Oscars, but it was nominated for 5. And then he made The Hateful Eight and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which got nominated for 10 Oscars.
It's just crazy.
And won 2 of them. It won Best Supporting Actor for Brad Pitt and Best Production Design.
It deserves it.
Last thing about Tarantino is he got married in 2018 to Daniela Pick, which is
oh my god, that's
the girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the girl that Leonardo DiCaprio ends up marrying.
Yeah,
like
from Italy.
The end of the film. Yeah, that's his wife. That's Tarantino's wife. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And they had a kid together. Aww. So there you go.
Cool.
Pretty fun.
That was pretty neat. Thanks for all those fun facts, Miranda.
Of course.
As you always do in every episode about who we're talking about.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Whoa, we changed clothes.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you probably noticed that we changed clothes. Just for fun. Just kidding. It's a different day.
It's a different day, and we're recording the rest of it.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're like, I don't care. Why are you talking about this? Anyway, so let's get right into talking about Tarantino films.
Let's jump right into it.
Jumping right in, like a little trampoline, jumping in.
Like a pool when you go off the high dive.
Exactly. All right, so.
Like when you ride a slip and slide and hit the very end of it with the water pulled up, you know?
Yes. So we're going to get right into our ranking of all the 9 Tarantino films that have been released. We still have one more.
We all know.
Yes. So our ranking, which we found out, is the same.
Yeah.
Like the other day.
Pretty much.
We found out that it's exactly the same. And we didn't plan that. It just happened. So our number 1 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Of course.
Our number 2 is Kill Bill. Our number 3 is Pulp Fiction. Number 4, Django Unchained. Number 5, Death Proof. Number 6, Inglourious Bastards. Number 7, The Hateful Eight. Number 8, Reservoir Dogs. And number 9, Jackie Brown.
Yeah. And just because we put some of them towards the very bottom doesn't mean that we disliked them. It's ranking your favorite films, like, ever.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's so hard because you have to rank them in some order.
They're all good.
They're all good.
Well, we didn't really like Jackie Brown, but...
Not as much. No.
But all the other ones are really good films. So it's hard to rank them, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so let's get right into...
we're segueing into the next little section.
What?
Of, we're going to talk about each film.
Yeah, we're going to... So spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Well, we're going to, like, briefly touch on
We're going to be briefly touching on each film, but we're going to be focusing on our top 2, which are Once Upon
and
Kill Bill. So when we get to Kill Bill and Once Upon, we're going to be talking more deeply about them. Mm-hmm. So, first film.
The first film that Tarantino both directed and wrote came out in 1992 was Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, which I think I mentioned when I was talking about his background. So, yeah. Reservoir Dogs. How do you feel about Reservoir Dogs, Ryan?
I mean, it was his first film ever. It was pretty rough, but it was still great.
Like, the budget for it was, like, only, like, $1 million or something.
Or less, right? It was very small, and he used, like, one location. Yeah. Pretty much, or 2 locations the whole time.
Yeah, because there is, like, a part where, like, Tim Roth's backstory or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, a few locations.
Yeah.
But they're all, like, things that you could probably easily get, like, access to and rights to film.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, one's an empty warehouse, another one's, an apartment building, and another one's, like, a cafe.
Yeah.
Right? So, he did get a street to do that big explosion sequence.
Yes, where, like, half of them die.
No, that's not where that's not where half of them die.
I've only seen it once.
Well, you just spoiled that.
Well, I already said spoilers.
I know, yeah, you're right. Okay.
But yeah, I remember the part... I didn't really like it the first time I watched it, just because it was very... it made me sad. It was very brutal. But now that I've seen every other Tarantino film, I'm very, very used to that. And I've grown to enjoy it. I hope that doesn't sound messed up. But, like...
Well, no, you enjoy his art style of...
Yes.
Of, like, fictitious.
And since it's his
violence.
first film and it's very low budget, it doesn't really I mean, obviously it doesn't feel as Tarantino as the rest of his films because it's low budget and
It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's his first film.
Yeah, like the part
essentially.
where Michael Madsen, is that his name?
Yeah.
When he cuts off the ear of that one guy, but they don't show it. I feel like not showing it made it harder to watch for some reason. Like, personally for me, because then it was up to my imagination to form what
Yeah.
it looked like for me. If
Yeah.
he were to just show it, I'd be able to watch,
Of
which
course, that's
sounds so messed
Yeah,
up.
of course that's a stylistic choice.
But remember, I think our friend Casey told us that, like, sorry Casey if you didn't actually tell us this, but like,
putting words in your mouth.
but like he didn't have the budget to make like a fake ear, like blood type thing.
like the makeup
So
for
that's
that?
why the camera pans away during that part, is because he just didn't have the money to do it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's why they didn't show it. It wasn't like an artistic choice. It was like,
Oh.
I would show this if I wanted to, but we don't have the money, kind of thing. Yeah.
He doesn't have the money to do like a simple prosthetic to put on it. Well, I don't know.
Well, one that looks good,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
I guess.
Also, like, I don't know. Just the whole movie, Tim Roth is, like, on the floor bleeding out the entire time. And I really hated
he's
that the first
not.
time I watched it. Yeah. It's like the whole film. He's just laying there, like, bleeding out. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember that very clearly. What?
I think that's towards the end of the film. Like when they all realize they start like distrusting each other so much that
I think you're wrong.
Nah, I could be
He's
wrong.
always laying there, like, the whole film. Like,
well,
I don't know if I feel like it happens within like the first 15 minutes of the film. It's like he gets shot or something. I can't remember. This is really bad because we haven't seen it in a really long
let's move
time.
on to the next one.
but
One that
but
we actually remember.
it's really good.
It's good. They're all
It's
great.
good, especially. I mean, it's Tarantino's first film. It's a classic, and it has the song "Stuck in the Middle with You," which is a very good song. So Tarantino was doing great with his musical choices from the very beginning, and
Now,
Steve Buscemi.
oh yeah, he has a great cast. Of
We
people.
love Steve Buscemi. Okay, next film.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Pulp.
Just 2 years later, in 1994, is when it was released.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, Pulp Fiction came out 2 years later in 1994. It's a big jump in production quality because I feel like he really proved his worth. You know?
Yes. He, God, he very much like solidified his style of filmmaking in that film.
Yeah.
And it's not told in the chronological order, which was very, very confusing for me the first time I watched
Yeah,
it.
and same here. I didn't know.
And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, I get it. I pieced it all together. It takes like a good 2 watches.
Yeah, 2 watches and you'll get the whole thing.
Maybe 3.
I just love the dialogue so much. I mean, that's, of course, like a very strong thing that Tarantino has in every single one of his fills.
Yes.
The dialogue is
He's very
excellent.
He's very good at making anti-heroes likable.
yeah, John Travolta and Samuel Jackson.
They're like on their
oh my
way
God.
to kill someone. Like multiple people. And you know this in your head, but then they're talking about, oh my God, I don't want to say it, but the Royale with cheese.
Yeah, you know what they call a quarter pounder.
Yes, they're having like funny banter in the car, and it makes you like them right away. And then it makes you root for them.
Royale with cheese.
God. Movies be like.
Movies be like, oh, Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. But yeah. Also,
I mean, and Quentin casted himself in this film.
he's in it? Oh yeah, he's in
Yeah.
it. Oh yeah.
He was also in Reservoir Dogs.
That was weird. He played kind of like a kind of a dick character.
Yeah.
He was just not likable. But I mean, he wrote it himself.
In the grand scheme
so
of
he
things,
probably knew.
they're all like unlikable people because they all are part of that circle of people who
I'm
kill.
aware,
You
Ryan.
know. I know you're
I
aware.
know.
I know you're aware. I know you're aware.
Okay, and then also we have the classic dancing scene to "You Never Can
Oh my
Tell"
God.
by Chuck Berry. where they dance, they boogie oogie.
Uma, and Johnny.
Uma.
Uma.
That scene always makes me want a milkshake.
Yeah, I want a milkshake.
It's a very, very good film. I mean, it's kind of like, I have to hear about it like every single day as a cinema major. Because literally in every single class, somebody has to reference it or like talk about how great it is. And I'm always like, we get it.
What about like when your professor's like, any new films that you guys have watched recently? Any new recommendations?
Someone's like, Pulp Fiction.
And he's probably like the 300th time he's ever heard
He's
it.
like, we've all already been assigned to watch that in multiple of our classes. Like, everyone's seen it. Anyway. But regardless of that, it is a great film. There's a reason why it's so hyped up in the cinema world. It's just, you know, when you have to hear about it every single day, you're like, can you request anything else new? That I could...
Yeah, there's so many other films.
We know.
That
you're preaching to the choir. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that enough on Pulp?
I don't know. I guess. I mean, yeah.
There was a lot more we can touch on, but that would require its own episode, wouldn't it?
It would. Mm-hmm. It's our third favorite, so we're not going to be going into depth about it. Sorry if you're a cinema major and you're super torn up about it, like all the other cinema majors in the world.
So sorry.
God.
Next one, Jackie Brown, 1997.
Oh no.
3 years later.
We didn't like this film.
It's a 2.5 hour.
We didn't like it.
Slow-paced, slow burn.
Yeah.
Stress you out kind of film. And
I didn't even stress me out. It just made me like annoyed because it was so long and it was about money. Like the plot wasn't even like interesting. It was just like, oh, she wants the money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just figuring out how to keep it for herself. So I don't know, the plot wasn't very great, and then also all the characters were not likable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Except for Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown was probably the only likable character, but also if she was put into any other Tarantino film, she would be the least likable character.
Yeah, you made a good point about that when we watched it.
So, like, I don't know, it felt so long.
Well, I mean, okay. For one reason why I feel like it felt so long is because we paused it for an hour when we were watching it.
Well, yeah, but it would have felt long either way. Like, when we paused it, there was still, like, an hour and a half left, or, like, an hour left, and we were like, how? How?
Like, when is it going to...
When is it going to start?
When's anything going to happen that is interesting?
Yeah. And, I don't know. We were talking about... We watched it with our friend.
I want to give it another chance for me. Like, for just to really solidify my opinion on it.
I'm not going to waste my time.
I didn't...
It's 2.5 hours. And it's not... I'm sorry if you like it. One of our friends that we watched it with, he was like, every Tarantino fan only says that they like it because it's Tarantino. Like...
It has his name on it, so of course they're gonna
like it. So of course they're gonna like it. And it's also like, with Death Proof, the only reason why some Tarantino fans say that it's their least favorite is because it's Tarantino's least favorite of all the films that he's made.
Because he said it was his least favorite.
So everyone's just gonna follow what he says. But, I don't know. It was boring. It had the potential to be a lot better than it was.
We just think...
Because it's a Tarantino film.
We just think a lot of it could have been... cut or slimmed down.
Could have trimmed out a lot of fat there, because the fat wasn't even like fun to watch or artistic or anything. It was just boring. Like the scene where she's... I feel like this is probably a lot of people's favorite scene of the whole film, but when she's leaving the money in the dressing room and she leaves, and then they show it from like 4 different perspectives, and they're not even that different, and you're just like... They could have just shown this in one run. They didn't have to show all 4 sides.
Yeah, the 5-minute scene, they showed it 4 times.
It was so long, and then I don't know.
But what do we know? We're not Quentin Tarantino.
I mean, who is, except for him, you know? That's not a very useful statement there. Okay, let's move on.
You know what I was trying to say.
Let's move on to the next film. What's the next film?
I'm not telling you.
Is it Kill Bill?
It's Kill Bill.
Oh boy, here I go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Kill Bill?
No, I hated it. Absolutely worse than Jackie
no.
Brown. Never want to watch it in my life again. I'm gonna burn your DVDs.
Why is it on your second then?
I'm kidding.
Really?
Yeah, I was joking that whole time.
I couldn't tell. Brian's such a jokester. Okay. Ew.
I Josh here and there.
Okay. Anyway.
Tell me about Kill Bill since this is your specialty. You were Uma Thurman.
I was
Kiddo.
Beatrix
You were Beatrix Kiddo.
for Halloween in 2019. I got a lot of compliments on it, which was very, very nice. I felt a little overwhelmed. I was very thankful. I don't know what I'm
You're
saying.
very thankful.
I was very thankful that this expensive costume that I spent all my money on
Actually paid off.
Yeah, everyone was like, whoa. I missed 2019. That was a good year.
No pandemic.
Well, it was also just a good year for me personally. Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point. So what do you like about Kill Bill, Ryan? You go first, because since I have so much to say.
Well, he really perfected action, like the style of action movies in this film, and incorporating martial arts, which is something that I trained with when I was younger for like 10 years. I received a black belt. So it's fun seeing a martial arts film, but I never really used swords, you know.
You never used a...
Well, like no, I mean...
You never used a sword, Ryan?
I've used a sword in a film, or not in a film, in a form, a few times.
You've been in a film with a sword before, Ryan? How have I never known this?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Anyway.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I love the intense action, the complete brutalness of what she's doing to everyone. Like she gets her revenge, and that's so satisfying.
She's the deadliest woman alive.
She gets to kill everyone that has ever wronged her, and even smaller people along the way, like Buck.
Buck, yeah.
Buck, yeah.
Buck, yeah. Buck and the I forget.
That trucker guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a trucker guy?
Yeah, the one.
Wait a minute, who are we talking about?
Buck and the trucker guy when she's in a coma and she kills both of them.
Oh, right. Yes.
Who are you talking about?
No, I know who you're talking about now. When you said trucker, I imagined a guy in a truck, and I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. But it's the guy who's about to, you know... She's in a coma, and men are, like, paying money to the hospital
to sexually do something to her.
Yes. And it's disgusting. But then she gets bitten by a mosquito and wakes up.
Which is great. I love that a mosquito made her wake up out of a coma.
The part is so heartbreaking, though, because she wakes up and she's immediately realizes that her pregnant belly is gone.
It's been like 4 years.
Yeah, and she's just like, holy shit, I don't have a baby. And she's just crying. It's really heartbreaking.
Okay. What do you like about the film? What's your...
It just feels like the most Tarantino film ever. It feels so Tarantino-y. And I love it.
Well, describe what you mean by Tarantino-y. I know that's a hard question to answer.
It's hard, but like, you know how with auteurs, the whole point is that you watch their films and you immediately know who directed it and wrote it because of their style being so unique to who they are. I feel like Kill Bill is the one where when you watch it, you know it from the second that it starts, that it's his film.
Yeah.
But also I just love how simple the story is. Like, the whole story is just that she She used to be an assassin squad, and she left, and she changed her name, and now she's about to get married and have a baby. And Bill, the guy who ran the assassination squad, sets up everyone to murder her, and like everyone at the wedding rehearsal or something.
He felt betrayed because she's getting
he was
married to someone
heartbroken.
else. Yeah.
And he ends up shooting her in the head, but then it just puts her into a coma for 4 years. And she wakes up, and she's like, I'm gonna get my revenge on all these people who wronged me. So it's like the 4 people in the assassin squad and Kill Bill. And Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she finds out that her daughter is still alive. Her daughter's like grown.
Yeah, well, that's like the
in
biggest
the second.
reveal
Yeah,
of the second film.
That part shocked me.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I was like, how did he get the baby out? There's a lot of unanswered questions, but like you just let him be.
I think I'm gonna warn some of the people that listen to this podcast to not listen to certain sections of this, so because I don't want them to get a lot of it spoiled.
But there's spoilers. We've mentioned that so many times.
I'm so sensitive about spoilers.
I would never watch a podcast episode on a movie that I hadn't seen. Why would I?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway. Let's talk about the history of Kill Bill. So Kill Bill, the movie idea was brought to Uma Thurman on the set of Pulp Fiction when they do the dancing scene between her and John Travolta. That whole diner scene, that whole day, or days that they were filming that, Uma and Tarantino were talking about this whole idea of Kill Bill and how cool of an idea it is, and how he wanted her to play the lead in it when he finally made it. And she was actually the one who came up with the idea of the opening when it opens up on her face all covered in blood and in her wedding veil and everything. And then, Pulp Fiction was probably made, it came out in 1994, so that was probably in like 1993. And
I mean, that's really funny that they're talking about another movie idea on the set.
Well, yeah.
Of Pulp Fiction.
You get excited. And then they kind of lost touch for a while, and then in the year 2000, Uma Thurman went up to Tarantino and was like, hey, is that Kill Bill idea still in the works? The Kill Bill was always going to be the name of this film since the very beginning. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll write you a script of it, like a screenplay of it for your birthday. And he was saying that thinking it would take like 2 weeks, and then it took him a year to write it because he got really into it and was like, wait a minute, I actually do have to make this. And then when he had finished the screenplay and was ready to start shooting and everything, Uma was pregnant.
Yep.
Like, with her second child, her son. So they had to hold off shooting for like a little bit longer. She had her second baby in like January 2002, and the film came out at the end of 2003. So she had to like really whip herself into shape doing all these martial arts and learning Japanese for the film.
And sword fighting.
And sword fighting. Like, so much that she had to do in like this year. It's insane. Anyway. And then while they were filming, they got really over budget and very over schedule, and they realized that the film it's gonna be 4 hours long, and no theater is going to take a 4-hour movie, and also no one's gonna want to watch a 4-hour movie. I mean, some people might, like Tarantino fans and film majors might, but like, the
really
general world doesn't want to sit down for 4 hours and watch a movie.
It's kind of like reminiscent of, well, the Snyder Cut of the Justice League that came out.
Yeah.
Was that 4.5 hours long?
Maybe.
4 hours? 4.5? No, that's not in theaters.
Is it just one straight thing? Or is there, like, chunks? Like, because I know that with The Hateful Eight, it's on Netflix, but it's in, like, 4 different parts.
It's one long movie.
Jesus.
I believe.
I'm never going to watch that. Mainly because I don't care about DC films. But anyway. So then they realized that they had to make it into 2 films. So they released Volume 1 at the end of 2003, and then Volume 2 in April of 2004. So they were released really close together. And yeah, pretty cool. I really love this film a lot.
Why? I know you already answered
I
that.
already said Ryan.
I wasn't listening.
Okay. Let's move into some fun facts. I have some fun facts for Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah?
Ryan's gonna do all the talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so I won't be talking for forever. Thank God.
Thank
Thank
goodness.
God. Okay, so some fun facts about Kill Bill.
Tell me.
The part where she finally gets her Hattori Hanzo sword and she slices the baseball in half. They actually did slice a baseball in half, but Uma Thurman did not do it. Zoe Bell did it because she was her stunt woman, and Zoe Bell...
Nice.
Excuse me. Zoe Bell is one of the main characters in Death Proof, the one who gets strapped to the car and is, like, fighting against Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. She's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's the one who gets her car dented in when Brad Pitt throws Bruce Lee.
That's her?
Yeah, and she walks out and she's like, "What did you do to my fucking car?" or whatever.
Oh.
That's her.
That's Kurt Russell's
And
wife
Kurt Russell
in that
is
movie.
her wife in it. Or his...
I said it.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's her husband in it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. They had a rough past, you know?
They got through it.
Him trying to kill her while she's strapped to a car.
She caved in his face in Death Proof, and, you know.
She didn't cave in his face.
Oh, was it, yeah, anyway. Back to your phone.
Rosario Dawson? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The one who kicks up her leg and then heals in his
Axe
face.
kicks his head into the...
And then it ends. That's Death Proof is so good. We'll get to it. So another fun fact is that when she fights Oren Ishii, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oren Ishii?
Ishii,
Oh, okay.
I believe. The bride, when she's about to fight the bride, she mocks her and says, "Hope you've saved your energy. If you haven't, you might not last 5 minutes." And then 4 minutes and 59 seconds later is when she slices off the top of her head. Which is really funny.
Within a second to 5 minutes.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Wonderful.
Pretty sick. Also, the iconic yellow outfit that she wears in Volume 1 is a tribute to Bruce Lee. What he wears in Game of Death, which is the film that is unfinished because he died during the making of it. They still released it though. It's just not done, unfortunately, which is really sad. But yeah, that was just a little homage to him. And also, they used condoms for blood effects to create big spurts of blood.
Yeah, there's so much blood in this film.
And, which was actually a technique that was really popular in 1970s Chinese action movies, is that they would do that. And also, in the first film, Volume 1, there's a lot of, there's a lot of blood, obviously. So they used black and white a lot because they needed to avoid a NC-17 rating. Because if there's too much blood splurting everywhere, then it goes from R to NC-17, and they did not want that. So they made it black and white for a lot of parts of it, which is actually something that Kung Fu TV in 1970s used. It's a technique that they used to go around the censors so that they would be able to air their show.
Didn't they also do that in trailers for the movie?
Well, in the trailers for the film, they didn't want to show any blood in the trailers, so they show parts where she's, like, fighting people, but it doesn't show any blood, and all the blood that's on her yellow outfit is, like, black. They just made it look like car oil or something.
Just like dirt or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so it's not red. Uma Thurman was also forced into, like, a really dangerous driving scene, but I don't know, I don't think it ever made the film, because when we were watching it, I was kind of looking for it, and I couldn't find it. But she released this silent footage of her driving this really dangerous route, and she slams into a tree, and she, like, actually injured herself. And in the video you see, like, Tarantino come over and like everyone's like comforting her, and then at the very end you see her turn around, she's laughing, but she's like all red and like teared up because you know, slamming into a tree, I can imagine, is very terrifying, and somebody just lifts her out.
Did you find the clip?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so she came out about that like kind of recently and was like, Tarantino forced me to do this dangerous scene that like everyone else on set was like, this is dangerous, she shouldn't do it. But Tarantino was also like, we can't use a green screen for this. So they made her drive it.
What car was she driving?
I can't remember.
What
It was a convertible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What if it was the reason why they didn't use the pussy wagon in the second film? Because she crashed it in that accident.
It's not the pussy wagon.
I know. I mean,
But-
I'm saying that's why the...
I see. It's like the convertible that she's driving at the
Yeah.
beginning of Kill Bill Volume 2,
yeah.
when she's recapping us on what happened.
Yeah.
Yes, but then Tarantino publicly apologized and she forgave him, so it's all good now.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. And last fun fact that I have is that obviously on TV, when these movies are shown, they have to censor a lot of stuff. So the part where what am I saying? Buck is like, my name is Buck and I'm here to fuck. When he says that, they change it, my name is Buck and I'm here to party. But they don't change, like, they don't blur over their mouths or anything.
No. Clearly
Which is really
the
funny.
F word.
So then she does it too when she's like slamming in his head and is like, your name is Buck, right? And you're here to party, right? And then also when she drives to the pussy wagon, she gets to the pussy wagon and it says party wagon on it. And you can Google it and look up Kill Bill party wagon on Google Images and you'll see it. It says party wagon and she looks down at the key and it says party wagon. And that's just
Party
really funny
wagon.
to me. Yeah.
It says it on her keychain too, right?
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
it
you
said.
just said that? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Kill Bill for you. We love it. We cherish it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can move on to the next film.
Well, one last thing. You
Yeah.
did combine both of them into one long version
He
of
did.
it called Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. We
Yeah.
haven't seen it in that version yet. I wonder if there's any...
We do. We want to.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if there's any editing changes. Like, he probably removed the credits in the middle. I wonder if he changed around any of the middle scenes. Like, you know, when she's recapping everything? I wonder
That's
if he
what I'm
did that.
wondering too. If he just cut out all of her recapping at the beginning of the second one. But we'll watch that eventually.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
next one.
Next film. What's the time gap here? This is in 2007, and it's Death Proof.
Death Proof.
Death Proof, 3 years later after Kill Bill Volume 2.
We love Death Proof.
Kurt Russell, fantastic villain. Very
Terrifying.
terrifying, very creepy. And
I mean, yeah.
Stuntman, what was his name? Stuntman Dave?
So my Mike,
Stuntman Mike.
I think.
Yeah. I think it was- yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you can tell right off the bat that he's going to be the villain, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he brings home that girl in the car, and he's like, oh, by the way, it's only death proof on this side, honey.
Yeah.
And then just fucking kills her. And you're like,
Remember, he sees that group of girls, and he's like, he wants to follow them, right? So he gets this girl into his car, a different girl. And he's like, I'll drive you home. Which way are you turning, left or right? And he knows that the other group of girls turned right. She's like, oh, I live to the left. He's like, well, it was a 50-50 shot whether you turned right or left. Well, we're turning right, honey. And then he fucking kills her by stomping on the brakes.
yeah, that's the girl I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first half of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I also enjoyed the second half a lot. Oh my god, I want to watch it again,
Yeah,
honestly.
I want to watch
I want to watch it again. I just really got attached to the characters in the first half of the film. And then when they all brutally die right in the middle of the film, and like you see their legs flying and everything,
And
I
their
got
head
so
gets squished.
sad. And they also die listening to like a song that I really like. which like hurt me. I was watching it and I was like, oh no, it's a really good song. They're gonna die. They're gonna die. And then they die.
They're gonna die in a horrible car wreck.
Horrible. And
It just kills people.
can we also just talk about that lap dance scene?
Yes, please.
It's so good. She's so good at
It is
lap
awesome.
dancing.
What's her name again?
I forget. That's bad. But she dances to a song called Down in Mexico.
Yes.
And it's a great scene. And I just love the way that their like whole friend group talk to each other. And how they were just dancing all the time. It was just so fun. And then they all died. It made me sad. But then we see Tracy Thomas and Rosario Dawson and Zoe Bell and the girl who plays, the main lead in Scott Pilgrim. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
Her. It's the four of them. So it's still all great actresses, obviously.
In the second half.
And I love all of them. And like, especially growing up watching Rent, I was like, these two are in another movie together. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this, I feel like Tarantino's foot fetish is very loud in
It's
this
very
one.
apparent. There's
It's so loud.
So many feet.
Kurt
in
Russell
this
literally
film.
licks a foot in this
He
film.
does. Well, he like licks his hand and then touches her, right?
No.
Oh, he licks it?
He licks it.
Oh, I forgot.
He like, because her feet are sticking out the car window and then she's asleep. Or she has like a sleep mask on. And then he just bends over and like licks her toe a teensy bit and then walks away.
And he dropped his keys like on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to
And then she wakes up and she's like, oh, that guy rubbed against me. Like, no, he fucking licked your toe. Gross. Anyway.
I love just the whole revenge sequence when they're finally like getting the upper hand on him.
Yeah. That
Chasing him down.
car sequence where they're just slamming against each other and Zoe Bell is on the roof of the car just like hanging on for dear life. And you know that she was actually doing it too because she's actually a stunt woman, which is insane. And then you think that she died, but then she just jumps up and she's like, guys, I'm over here.
She went flying probably like 20 feet into the brush.
That part is so cute. That part made me happy. I was like, oh my god, thank God. Thank God Kurt Russell didn't win again and kill off all these characters that I love. Yeah. Poor Mary Elizabeth Winstead, though. She was barely even in it. Her last line is...
Oh, boo-hoo.
We love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I mean, I know I couldn't remember her name initially, but like... but like, we love her. I mean, you do.
I know. I do.
You're always like, oh my god, she's so hot.
That's all I say every day.
Every single day. Her last line is gulp.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then she's not in it again. And I remember being like, oh, I
You said
wanted
gulp.
more of her. Okay, anyway. Yeah, we can
Cool.
move on to the next one.
2 years later, he releases Inglourious Bastards.
Oh god, I don't know. I've seen this once, and it was like a few years ago.
He made Milk
Terrifying.
very uncomfortable and terrifying.
I mean, he didn't necessarily do that. That's also
No,
used in
I
a lot
know.
of films. I mean, because that was used in,
Really?
I mean, this came out in 2009. That was used in No Country for Old Men. It was used in
Right.
Clockwork Orange, like, a lot. Like, in a
Okay.
Clockwork Orange, they go to a milk bar a lot.
Oh.
So, like, it's a common technique used to just make the most terrifying characters drink milk because it's, like, extra disturbing to see the drink that children drink to make their bones nice and strong.
You used to
we're told.
associate childhood with milk.
Yeah, so when you see a creepy old man drink it, it rubs you the wrong way. And in Inglourious Bastards, the part that I most remember is the opening scene with Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph
Just
Waltz.
being terrifying. And, yeah. Christoph
Yeah.
Waltz is amazing in this film.
I've only seen this film once as well. Probably like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I just remember really liking it. I
Yeah.
don't have much else to say about it.
I know, I need to
don't
watch
know.
it again. I mean, I just remember that, like, everyone dies or something. I can't remember. Or, like, a lot of the characters that I like the most end up dying. This sounds
happens.
so uninformed and so...
Well, yeah, we've
'cause
only seen it one time and
'cause
we
we've
didn't
only seen it one
research it.
time.
Yeah. It's okay.
But Brad Pitt is in it.
Yeah.
You know who else is in it? Gus from Love.
Really?
Paul Rust.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Paul Rust. He's one of the guys who gets his head scraped off. After.
Oh, he gets scalped?
I think so.
I thought he was on the American...
I can't remember which
American
side he's
side.
on. Okay, maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. I just remember, like, all of those men lining up and being like, oh, I've seen that guy from this TV show and this TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Like, Ryan from The Office is in
Yeah,
it.
I forgot about... Yeah, that's the American side. They're not...
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I
they're
think it is
Nazis.
the American side, but I feel like Paul Rust dies for some reason. Anyway.
Probably.
I mean, everyone does.
Yeah.
Also, the food in this movie looks delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every single time they drink, or not drink, every time they eat a strudel, is that what they eat in this film? It's been so long.
I don't know.
It's like pie or strudel or something, and with the whipped cream, he makes it look so good. Yes.
Tarantino really knows how to make food look delicious.
Yes. Alright, we can move on to the next one, because, sorry, we haven't seen Inglourious Basterds in a
Yeah.
while.
Same with Django. But that's the next
But that's
film.
more recent. We actually saw that more recently.
3 years later, after Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
Written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Casting Jamie Foxx, Christopher Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio. I butchered his name. But a whole host of other people. Samuel Jackson's in it too. So like
Yeah, Samuel Jackson plays like the
worst.
The worst.
The worst kind of person.
right next to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
They're both terrible. But I mean, I love Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I think it's our
Fourth?
fourth. Yeah, so
It is the fourth.
it is. So it's really good. I don't know. I just love Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz, and then I just love the part where where Jamie Foxx sees his wife for the first time after so long, and
Yeah.
her reaction is like she pours the water and then she faints.
Yeah.
That part's really good. Also, this is the film where Leonardo DiCaprio
He hurt himself.
he started bleeding from slamming down glass and it breaking, and
There was a dinner scene and he was getting very heated over
he was getting really into his character.
Yeah, and he punched the table, and the entire table's set for dinner, and he punched through a plate and a bunch of
Is
shards
that what
of
happens?
it. Yeah, I think,
Okay.
and it cut his hand.
Yeah,
a bunch.
it cuts his hand, and they just went with it, and of course they had to, replace the blood with fake blood, because this would be a total health violation if he did this with his real
Yeah.
blood, because then he rubs it all over her face.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I remember, somebody telling me, oh yeah, in that film, Leo DiCaprio, he makes his hand bleed and then he rubs all of his blood over the girl's face. And I'm like, you can't do that. That's a health code. That's literally not legal.
So he'd be in a lot of pain.
Yeah. But he just gets really into it.
Yeah.
He toughed it out. But yeah, Django Unchained.
Django had a very good costume, and
Oh, I love the costume design. It's
so
his
clean.
blue, yeah. I also love the end when he's like, I forget the name of the character, but he's like, everyone say goodbye to Mrs. something, and then they say bye, and then he shoots the gun and it goes straight into her, and she's like, ah!
Yeah. Oh, she gets yanked out.
Yeah.
Out of the doorway.
It's so funny. It's such a satisfying film, because everyone that you hate
Gets killed.
gets killed. So,
Shockingly profane and never boring.
yeah. Also, shout out to Ben. If you're listening to this, I know that's the only Tarantino film he's seen.
That's the
So,
Ben.
shout out to Ben. Good job seeing this one.
Good job, Ben.
Sorry
you saw
about all
one.
the spoilers for the other ones. Okay, next one.
Hateful Eight,
Hateful Eight.
2015, 3 years after Django.
We both watched the extended version
No, I
of
didn't.
this film.
You did.
I thought that you did too.
No, I watched Hateful Eight, I think with Casey.
Oh, because they have an extended version of it on
Yeah,
Netflix
and
where
you
it's like
watched it
4 parts.
You watched it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I did watch it by myself, and I mean it's great. I think it's like the lowest on our list, but not for a bad like it's right above Reservoir Dogs and Jackie Brown.
Yeah, it's towards the lower end, but I don't know. I don't consider it.
It's really
bad.
good. It is really good.
It's very long, but
It is. It's
there's a
very
lot of
long.
good payoff from watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of good surprises and twists in the story. That sounds like every story you could ever describe. Wow, there's lots of twists and turns and ups and downs.
Sounds like a movie to me.
Yeah, it sure sounds like a movie to me.
We need a new conflict every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, I think this is the first thing I saw. Actually, I was watching this TV show called Atypical on Netflix. And the mom in that show is Jennifer Jason Leigh. And it was the only thing I'd ever seen her in. And so when I watched The Hateful Eight, I was like, wait a minute, is that the mom from Atypical? Because in that show, she plays just like such a basic mom. Like, not a likable character at all.
Yeah.
So it was really weird seeing her in The Hateful Eight play like this really gross, like... She plays such a gross character in The Hateful Eight. Like, I can't... It's been a while since we watched this one, too.
I just like that you don't know who to trust or not, and who's gonna backstab who, and it's very claustrophobic because it's reminiscent
It's
of
so stressful.
Reservoir Dogs because it all takes place pretty much in one location, and same here.
Yeah, it's like an old timey Reservoir Dogs, but not at all.
The southern, yeah.
Not at all, because the characters aren't in a gang or whatever.
Some of them are.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, they're not all in the same one.
They're not in the, yeah.
Like, they're not about to go on a mission and then accidentally all die in the process.
There are a bunch of different mixes of people.
Yes. God, I remember what made me the most sad about this film was the part where they show the flashback of them going into that house and like killing all the people who... It was like a candy shop. Mm-hmm. And they just kill everyone in there. And it's like all these sweet people who just want to sell candy. Mm-hmm. That part made me really sad.
And they just like took over it.
But then all the bad people die too, so it's good.
Yeah.
Sorry for how many spoilers we're giving. But anyway. Okay, we can move on.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Here it is.
Go!
My Big Shot 2019. Written. Well, I don't know if it was written. It doesn't say it was written, but directed by Quentin Tarantino. Totally written by him, too. So, 2019. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt co-star in this fantastic film. This is our favorite film of all time.
It is. We love this film so much. Mainly because, well, personally for me,
You like the 60s?
Well, I just love old-timey Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I've always loved films that are based around old-timey Hollywood. And this film is literally a love letter to old-timey Hollywood.
It is. Yeah.
Take a shot every time I say old-timey Hollywood.
Old-timey Hollywood. That's 5, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, it is an amazing film. It's one of those films where when I watch it, I'm so into the scene that I'm watching, but my brain is also thinking every scene ahead because I'm so excited for the next scene as well.
So excited to watch what's about to happen.
And the movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. And so it's like every time I watch it, I have to like really devote my time to it because I can't have any distractions.
I would love to watch this film for the first time again.
Yeah.
Because we saw it in theaters. Oh my god.
We already talked about this in the first episode.
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
how when we saw it in
how the
theaters
terrible
for the first
experience
time.
we saw it for the first time.
But it wasn't terrible because we still loved the film regardless. It didn't ruin the film.
No. it's a slow burn with a very satisfying payoff
Yes.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good. It's so good.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
It's true, Ryan.
Not everyone will get or like the fact that pretty much nothing really happens or very actiony, but
that's the whole point, is that every time you think something bad's about to happen, it doesn't happen.
like it sets it up perfectly for some crazy action sequence or something like very bad is going to happen. But no.
And if you pay attention to the film, literally tells you like
we're going against all the conventions.
We're playing with you.
We're playing with you.
Like every single time they pull out of a parking lot, they drive on the opposite direction of the arrow.
Yeah.
So it's like telling you, we're going in the opposite direction than you think. You think all this bad stuff's gonna happen because you know what happened in real life.
They do it every time.
But nothing that bad is like really gonna happen. And the thing that does happen isn't even bad.
Brad Pitt is pretty much untouchable in this film. Except for the very end. But like...
Yeah, but he's
lives, still fine. He
lives and he's like,
fine.
I tried.
He's
like, he said, I'm the devil and I'm gonna do some devil shit or something. It's so good. It's so good.
Should I talk about the fun facts or you still want to keep talking?
No, you can talk about the fun facts.
Cool.
If I start, I won't stop.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So something fun about Tarantino is that he goes to the movies for 3 weeks when he first releases a film, just to get like a sense of the audience's reaction. And he says that it's the biggest payoff to him to hear audiences laugh and enjoy his film. Yeah, he also says that you won't get that audience again after like 3 weeks because it's a big blockbuster hit.
Yeah.
And the theaters won't be as crowded and won't be as packed and everything. And he goes around town to different theaters and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So on set, Tarantino banned
phones.
Banned phones.
No phones.
These are my facts, okay?
I know.
These are my facts.
I just
because you know them.
them.
Just because you know them doesn't mean that you can't take over my segment.
He's sorry. He hates phones.
He hates phones. He'd fire anyone who has them
on
set. Yeah. He just wants them to be focused and just not distracted because
he even owns a flip phone. He doesn't even have a real phone, like an iPhone or anything. An Android or whatever you call them, phones.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Margot Robbie was actually given some of Sharon Tate's personal jewelry to wear on set.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So, when they go to Spawn Ranch and everything, and they have, like, the guy who owns it, Burt Reynolds was originally cast to be the owner of Spawn Ranch, but he passed away before they shot any of his scenes.
Oh.
So, yeah. He lives a good life. The super famous man.
Sad. He was supposed to play George.
Supposed to play George, but Bruce Dern was given the role after. Squeaky?
Squeaky?
I don't know the color of the bitch's hair. The redheaded one? No.
I'm fucking blind.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So, the part of the film where Sharon Tate goes up to that movie theater and she's like, "Oh, can I have a free ticket?"
Classic scene.
I'm in the movie.
Yes.
And everyone's like, or the girl in the ticket box was like,
"What?
What? No way. I'm not buying this."
This girl was in Valley of the Dolls, and Margot Robbie's like, the one who does dirty movies. I've seen this film way too many times.
Yeah, that entire sequence of saying that you're in a film or something like that is inspired off of Tarantino's own experience at the same theater that the scene was shot in. So he was taking a date to see True Romance, something that he helped write.
Margot Robbie's favorite movie.
Yeah, which came out in 1993. Now...
that was like his first screenplay that sold or something.
Yeah. And maybe. It was a year after his success of Reservoir Dogs. So he definitely was beginning to become well known. And
Yeah.
so he went up to the box office guy, and instead of paying for a movie ticket, he's like, I wrote the film for True Romance. Can I get a ticket with my date? And the dude was not buying it. He was absolutely not buying it. I mean, of course, if you have someone who walks up to you and say, I wrote the film, can I get a free ticket? Of course you're going to be skeptical. Mm-hmm. But after a while, like after they're having this argument, some of Tarantino's own fans came up to him and were like talking to him about Reservoir Dogs, and his date was like, these are his fans. Like, he wrote Reservoir Dogs this came out last year. He's super famous, and the guy bought it. There you go.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So he did end up getting his free ticket.
He did end up getting his free ticket.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. They used miniatures in this film as well, because Tarantino really doesn't like using CGI and stuff for big scene replacements and stuff. So he used miniatures. So, the scene where Cliff Booth drives through that drive-in movie theater?
Yes.
Where he turns into the lot, and then the camera goes above the backside of the screen, and you can see all these cars and people watching this drive-in film, and they're kind of moving, and they have headlights. They're all miniature cars, like real,
like Hot Wheels,
Wheels, but better because they're model cars.
That's insane.
I had no idea.
It's not noticeable at all.
Not at all, but it is to Tarantino, and that's why he did it. It's pretty neat. Miniatures are cool.
I gotta look out for that next time we watch it.
Well, let's say the film had a budget of $100 million. Mm-hmm. And, well, it grossed $374 million. So that's a pretty big profit right there. Part of that budget went to redecorating lots of LA, like, landmarks and streets to make it feel like the 1960s. Because this is set in 1969, right? You can think of that scene where Brad Pitt's driving down Hollywood Boulevard, I think, or Sunset or something, and all of the like shops behind him along the road have neon signs and other decorations reminiscent of the 60s. So he had to get all of those shops to like sign up to do that, and they really, once the filming was done, they really didn't want to take it down because it looked so cool.
Oh.
Yeah, because it looks really cool.
I wouldn't want to either.
Yeah. There's lots of camouflaging to get rid of all the modern elements, paintings and signage, and he also recreated a bunch of neon signs that weren't there anymore and like refurbished them. Well, people love improvisation scenes, don't they, Miranda?
Yeah.
Well, the entire scene where Rick Dalton is like flipping out in his trailer, that's entirely improvised. I mean, like that line about his favorite drink, or how many drinks he had the previous night, where he slurs it. Yeah, that's our favorite line of the film, or one of them.
Could have had 3 or 4 bananas in
Daddy!
It's really good.
It's great.
It's good because you can't understand what he's saying, and he ends on like an upward inflection.
Mm-hmm. He kicks in the door.
That's what makes it funny, folks, in case you missed it.
He kicks in the door and like swats all the stuff off the table and onto the floor, breaks some things.
And then he opens up another drink and starts drinking. He's like,
and then throws it out the door. He's like, oh, fuck.
It's so funny.
The other line, Tarantino's very selective and very, like, he doesn't want any improvised anything because he's very meticulous about what he's created, right? Mm-hmm. The only other line is when Brad Pitt says, "You're Rick fucking Dalton."
Mm-hmm. That was improvised?
Don't you forget that. That was improvised, yeah. And it was based off of something that another actor told Brad Pitt earlier in his career when he was having a bad day on set. Get your head up. Hold your head up. Quit your whining. You're Brad fucking Pitt.
Oh!
I would like to be Brad fucking Pitt.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's so funny.
What a way to pump up Brad Pitt.
And then, yeah, he's like, well, yeah, I am Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
He has a realization and he's better.
It's like with Margaret Qualley. I don't know why this made me think of it, just Brad Pitt. But Margaret Qualley, the girl who plays Pussycat in the movie, she had to grow out her armpit hair for the film.
Oh, God.
And she would go up to Brad Pitt and be like, "Do you like my Brad Pitts?" And he wouldn't laugh.
That's stupid.
He wouldn't find it funny. I'd find that hilarious.
Yeah. Me too.
That would make me fall in love with her. I'd be like, yes, be my best friend.
He shut down Hollywood, like the Hollywood freeway for an hour. Can you imagine what that did to the traffic in that area?
Oh my god.
He shut it down.
Awful.
You know where he takes Margaret Qualley and they hop on the freeway? Like Brad Pitt and Margaret Qualley, they take that entrance. We took that entrance one of the times we were down in LA. And I was like, oh, this seems familiar. I wonder why. It was that freeway entrance. He shut it down.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's stressful.
Yeah. And I mean other parts of the freeway too, because they filmed on the freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta really budget your time well, because you're ruining lots of other people. I mean, you're affecting lots of other people's lives, and they're.
He's absolutely destroying everyone's life.
Yeah.
Shutting down a freeway for 1 hour.
So, Rick Dalton plays a character in the Western television show Bounty Law.
Yes.
That he came up with. Well, he actually wrote several full-length episodes for it, and he has plans to direct them and shoot them as a real series. But
we'll see.
Do you think we'll ever see that?
I know that there is one though on the special features of the DVD. Remember?
Yeah, there is one.
Yeah. Because I think they had to just shoot one whole one to make it look real enough for when they show segments of it in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be fun.
Michael Madsen is in it for 10 seconds.
He is.
Mm-hmm. But that's cool. I hope he does it. I hope he does. He's very proud of it because he successfully recreated the look of those old Western television shows.
And Timothy Olyphant is in it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's that weird jump cut where he's talking to Leonardo DiCaprio and then all of a sudden they have cowboy hats on.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's just a jump cut.
Oh.
There wasn't really any reason for it, I don't think. They just did it. Maybe it was a tribute to Godard films or something.
I don't know
Jean-Luc Godard. He uses a lot of jump cuts in his films. Okay. Anyway, probably not. But anyway, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
What are you saying?
Maybe. Tarantino does old films. Well, not really old films. They're all films that came out when he was a kid. Yeah. So they're just films to him.
Yeah. Well, I think this will conclude the 4th episode of the Movies Be Like podcast.
Sorry that for 3 of the Tarantino films, we haven't seen them in a while. We didn't have all the time in the world to rewatch every single Tarantino film for this episode.
Because they're long and, yeah.
Because they're very long.
We also have other
we
stuff
rewatched
going
all the ones we focused on, but yeah. We gotta rewatch Inglourious Bastards and Reservoir Dogs and...
I want to watch Death Proof again, even though I watched it last month.
I really want to watch Death Proof again.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Easter.
not that long ago. And
I watched it on Easter.
And Django and Hateful Eight. I want to rewatch pretty much everything that I haven't seen a million times. I don't really want to watch Jackie Brown again though.
No.
Okay. Thank you for listening to this episode.
Thank you guys.
Sorry it's kind of a long one, but...
I think we say that about every single one.
But,
they are long.
9 movies to talk about. Sorry if you're I've seen 7 of these films, but not 2 of them, and we've accidentally spoiled everything about them for you. Hopefully you skimmed over that. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for listening. Catch you later next time. Peace.
Peace.